Hey guys, what's going on? This is me, Mr. Mario. So this is another video I'll just be doing straight off my head. As you guys have probably caught on, I mean, I rarely write out any videos. Sometimes I do, but for this comparison, I don't think I have to. Anyways, I'm going to be doing a comparison between Android and iOS. Now, I could say, you know, Google versus Apple, whatever, but even I could say Android versus Apple, mainly due to the fact that, first off, let's cover this. iOS is only available on Apple devices, while as Android is available on many more devices. So I have a Samsung Galaxy S 4G. If you don't like Samsung, you can go with another brand. You also have more options to choose from when you're getting not a data plan, but just when you're getting a plan in general. You could go with Sprint to, well, actually you can get an Android on any network, I think. And I think with iPhones you can only get them on, well, first it was AT&T for a while, now you can get them on Sprint, I believe, a few other carriers. I'm not 100% on it. Anyways, let's go over these. As you can see, this one is an iPhone 3GS. Paid $1 for it. This is a Galaxy S 4G. It is available through T-Mobile. However, it is carrier unlocked. As you can see, I am running it on AT&T right there. So that's really it. This phone is also through AT&T. It is still carrier locked because it has the new boot ROM on it. But as I said, this one was $1. This one, I ended up using a bunch of coupons, and then I had a little bit left to pay, but my parents just covered it and said it was part of my Christmas present, so I got this one for free. Anyways, this phone right here, it has Gingerbread on it, 2.3.6. Unfortunately, this phone does not support ICS yet, Ice Cream Sandwich, in case you all don't know. And it's kind of disappointing because Jelly Bean is right around the corner. That's the new Android update. While as this has the latest update on it, it is 5.1.1. As you can see, no SIM card installed because I have it on my Android phone. So first off, let's go over this. Now, the actual hardware. What I like is that you can choose really any phone for an Android. I liked this phone. I thought it was a good deal, and I thought it was sufficient. Now, if you don't like Samsung, you can go with any other brand that has an Android device. However, if you don't like Apple, you're kind of out of luck because iOS is only available on Apple devices. You can get on the iPhones, iPads, iPods. That's it. Now, what about the user interface? Well, right here, we got this. We just got the slide to unlock. Now, I don't have a unlock feature, well, like a passcode or anything. The reason why I also have 5 all across here is because this is jailbroken. I should also say that this phone is rooted, just in case you all don't know. But this phone is jailbroken. But when it's not jailbroken, I mean, you're kind of limited on it. But thankfully, jailbreaks are pretty easy to do. That's why you can see like 9 and 10-year-olds thinking they're big-time hackers because they jailbroke their mom's iPod Touch. Anyways, that's with that. But on here, we have the guided little unlock, which I really like. Although I will, hold on, I'm just taking this off screen. I'm going to disable it because I don't want you all to know my lock code. But I do like that lock code more than the number sequence. Now, you can get a Android type lock on here, but you have to have a jailbroken phone. Now, I'm going to be talking about the stock operating systems right now. Let me just change this up on here. Location security. Sorry about this, you guys. Use visible pattern. No. Okay. Let's see. Oh. Nope, that doesn't help at all. Sorry about that. Sorry if this is taking up a few extra seconds. I really apologize. But, you know, this is just how it's done. Confirm save pattern. Yeah, okay. None. There we go. Okay, let's lock that. Unlock it. There we go. So stock, all you have to do is just swipe that away. It's kind of iffy on that, while as the iPhone itself is just slide to unlock, and that's it. Now, with the user interface, the reason why I have these icons set up is because I'm kind of used to iOS with that. I like that. However, what you can do, you can just hit applications right here, brings you up to that. While as for iOS, all the applications are going to be on your springboard. You can, starting with iOS 4 or iOS 5, I think it was iOS 4, you could start using these folders right here. But that was about it, really. They're all just on the springboard, which, you know, some people might not like. It just looks kind of cluttered there. At least on Android, you do have the option of changing it. And I will say, you can do some crazy stuff on Android with the themes. Now, yes, this could kill your battery life, it could slow your phone down, but the point is, you can theme your phone out completely without rooting it. While as on iOS 5, or just any iOS, you have to have a jailbroken iPhone to do anything like this. That's just how it is. Actually, as you can see, my background there is another background. This is something people take for granted. For a while, the only way you could change your background was if you had a jailbroken phone. As unbelievable as that sounds, if you did not jailbreak your phone, you could only have a black background. That was it. They integrated that in either the 3 series firmware or iOS 4. I don't remember when exactly they integrated it in there, but I remember when I did my first jailbreak, you couldn't do that yet natively. Let's cover the App Store, though, on each one. Now, for the iPhone, you have the App Store available to you. It's nice, but the thing is, what I don't like about it is compare it to Android Store. Now, it used to be the Android Marketplace, now it's called Play Store. Not really digging the name change, sorry about that. But anyways, let's come over to Featured. So here we have our startup screen, we have all this, and I mean, it's nothing really that fancy. Android, I guess you could say, is the same thing. However, you will say that at least on Google Play, it shows you can get movies, ebooks, all that other stuff. You can do the same thing on here, except the App Store is different than everything else. The App Store is only for apps, of course, and then you can buy everything else through iTunes. While as on Android, they integrated everything on there, which is why they changed it to Google Play instead of the Android Marketplace. The one big thing you need to know between these two is that Google is okay with you rooting your phone. Yes, it is against the warranty, and you will, send your phone out of warranty, but you can find rooted applications on Google Play, on the official store that Google runs. You can find rooted applications on there. On the iPhone, you can't. To get any jailbreak apps, you have to go through Cydia. Which, I mean, Cydia is not terrible. I really like Cydia. I mean, it's great for what it does, and at least we don't have any fights going on between the marketplaces here, like between Rock or anything like that. But the one thing that annoys everyone with Cydia is going to be reloading data, and I'm going to show you all this right now. If you all don't already know, reloading data takes forever. Now, this is, yes, it's going into the jailbreak side of it. Maybe you don't want a jailbreak, but I would recommend it, just because really, on iOS, you can't do as much with a stock iPhone. While as on Android, I mean, you got customizations, you have all these other things, and there it is, reloading data. That's unbelievably annoying. But the one thing I like about Android, especially with having a rooted one, you have access to this application. I'll show you. It's called Ad-Free. It does exactly what it says. It blocks ads. I never see ads on this thing. And that is just, one of the biggest benefits, in my opinion, of rooting your phone. And I've told people, because most people I know who use Android, they don't root their phones. And I tell them, it's totally worth rooting your phone just to use ad-free, because it just makes the experience so much better. Anyways, the customization is always better, but when it comes to hardware, let's go ahead and talk about that. Now, Apple, I can talk about the hardware here. The screen size is really still the same. I mean, with each one, you get more power, you get different shapes, I guess, but the screen size is still the same. Look at this phone. This phone's maybe a year newer, and the size is bigger. And you can get other phones that have bigger screens or smaller screens that are on Android, and that's what I like about it, just because you can get really any phone. While, as I said before, with Apple, you're going to be stuck with that. There's always rumors of the next iPhone having this, or having that, or having a pizza maker, But they're always just rumors. We never know until the iPhone actually comes out. I don't even know if the iPhone 5 is going to have a bigger screen. Nothing official has been said yet. It's all just rumors. Everyone said that the iPhone 4S was supposed to be the iPhone 5. Well, it ended up being the iPhone 4S. Also, this screen is kind of small to the point where it's like, I have Grand Theft Auto 3 on here, but it's not really fun to play on this. And also, since this is a 3GS, I'm not expecting it to be perfect, but you should know that it does play on here, but that's about it. You get really bad frame drops, and it's not an enjoyable experience. That's really all it is for that. While as on Android, I mean, I love having this big screen on here. The one thing, though, that you'll always hear with Android users is that the battery life is not that good. My Android drains its battery faster than my iPhone. I notice when my iPhone idles, like it doesn't use the battery if you just let it sit there. Whereas with Android, it's just going to burn through it. Now, people might say this is an opinion, and I guess it is, but I will say between the two operating systems, iOS is easier to use. Although that could be an opinion, and most people would say it is, I honestly have to say I'm going to state that as a fact. I mean, it's not that Android is hard. I love Android. I absolutely love it, but iOS is simple. It has simplicity, and it's easy to grasp for anyone. In fact, my parents both had, not these Androids, but they both had phones that had Android on them, and they liked them, but they were always asking me questions. They were doing this, doing that. Then we all got iPhones. They use their iPhones, and they understand everything on there. It's a very easy operating system to learn. It's very simple. It's stable, too, is the thing. I mean, sometimes, especially when you're rooting your phones, it can become unstable. But, you know, there's always been, you know, stability issues here and there with each release and each update of the Android operating system. While as for iOS, I've noticed maybe the only time I've had issues was when I got my iPod Touch. This is iPod Touch 3rd generation, and when I went from 3 to 4, I upgraded to iOS 4, I noticed it started becoming slower. That is a given, though, because this thing really isn't that powerful, but, you know, what can you do? You can't really do that much, because the iPods are not as powerful as the phones. Now, this thing runs iOS 5, no issues, and it can even run iOS 6, even though I don't have it on here, but again, battery life is great on these things. Of course, if you're playing a graphic-intense game or something, or you're talking on the phone a lot, it's going to burn through, but with longevity, you're going to have better battery life on iOS. I'm just saying that. Now, with Android, you can actually, you know, you can get extended batteries and such like that, but I don't have an extended battery. I just have the, you know, regular stock one. One thing that's cool, though, is, you know, speaking of that, you can actually pop this off and access the back panel and change out the battery, change out the memory of the card and such, so you can always upgrade on here. While as on the iPhones, you're stuck. The only thing you can really do without voiding the warranty is just to pop out this part right here so you can change out SIM cards. That's really all you can do. Now, that's all I really have to say about these, and, you know, I could go into more detail, but I'm just trying to kind of generalize this, just, you know, for everyone. Just if they want to get a new phone or they want to switch operating systems, I will say that both of these, I mean, they have their ups and downs. You know, iOS has better battery life. Android is open source. Android is available on more phones. iOS is Apple exclusive. I know if you jailbreak your iPhone, I've read that you can dual boot Android on there. I don't know how good that would be, but one thing also is that you have iTunes available to you. I will say, honestly, I love Android, but Android is not a good operating system to use as a media player. It just isn't. I don't care what you guys tell me, it isn't. iOS was built for media. That's it. It's integrated into iTunes. You can have your library in there. I mean, it's very easy, and I like it. While as Android, I absolutely love Android. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to, you know, make Apple look better here, but it's just, honestly, it's not good for media. I don't do phone gaming on here. Oh yeah, and if you do phone gaming, I would say that, again, I'll honestly say I think, in my opinion, iOS has the better games. Now, I don't do phone gaming. I have all the consoles. I have a gaming PC. I have a laptop, so I don't need to do phone gaming. I do use these apps on here, you know, on my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I use those, but that doesn't count as gaming. As a gaming platform, I would say iOS is better. But when it comes down to it, I used iOS longer, okay? I've been using iOS longer than Android. In fact, you could say I'm new to Android. I got this phone maybe 7-8 months ago, so I'm still pretty new to it. But I will say I like Android more, but that's maybe because I just got bored of iOS. I'll be honest, I decided to use this iPhone, and I said, okay, I'm going to use it until I get bored of it. Got bored of it after about 3 weeks, so I turned it off, pulled that SIM card out, and put it back in my Galaxy, and it felt so good coming back to this thing. Now, I will also say that, you know, Android, I said before, it has instability issues sometimes, you know, and it gets to the point where, I don't know, it might not send off your texts, it might be slow, anything like that. While, as I noticed with iOS, I've never really had those issues. I didn't have issues sending texts. It's very fast, especially with iOS 5. If you have friends that have iPhones or iPods or iPads, actually the texting feature, it has something called iMessage, where it is instantly improved, optimized, that's the word I was looking for. It is optimized. Texting has become optimized between all iDevices. So it's actually really cool because you can just go here, I'm not going to bring it up, but you can just go to your messages and you're texting someone, and when you text someone, then it shows like 3 dots like they're talking. So it's fast enough that it becomes like a chat system. So you can chat iPhone to iPhone, iPhone to iPad, iPhone to iPod. It works. It's pretty cool. I thought it was a nice little feature that they put in here, and it's just iPhone to iPhone is always going to be optimized, while as, you know, Android to Android, since there's so many phones out there, so many operating systems of the Android, it's kind of hard to do that optimization. But again, I will say, pretty much in short, I believe, and also, one more thing I was going to say, the price, too. Pricing is pretty fixed on iPhones, while as Android, I believe, is more affordable. You can get the latest and greatest phones with all the bells and whistles, or you can get kind of an outdated, older Android device that still uses Android and it's still good. You have that option. But for somebody who is, you know, wanting to get into smartphones, but they're kind of just learning and all that, I would recommend iOS. It does have nice features. It's very easy to use. It's simple. Now, Android, it's a little more complex. It's still pretty simple. It's graspable, but if you don't mind the iffy battery life, I love Android. I absolutely love it. It's open source, and as I said, if you don't even know how to hack your phone, if you don't know how to root it, it doesn't matter, because you can do so much stuff. It's just completely unparalleled what you can do on Android compared to iOS. So if you're actually going to utilize those features, I'll say that if you're going to utilize all those bonuses, I will recommend this. While as if you only want a phone really to show off and play Angry Birds, I would recommend this. So that is my whole opinionated comparison. I used facts in there, but it was opinion as well, between iOS and Android. Now, what is the winner to me? I'll honestly say I like Android. I've fallen in love with Android. You know, it has its ups and downs, but if I ever get bored of Android, if I get pissed off at it, I can go back to my iPhone. It's cool. I don't really mind that. Because iOS is still fun to mess with. The problem is I get bored of it too fast. So that's it. Thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate it. This is Mr. Mario, signing out. Peace.